Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. I'm going to give you some suggestions for tablecloths. Now tablecloths are really easy to make. You just decide how big you want your tablecloth. You got to measure your table, decide how far down you want it to hang on each side, and there you have the dimensions for your tablecloth. So you can make it all one piece of fabric, or like I did here, squares. So all I did on this one was cut some squares in here. These I think are about 9 inches. And then added a border, just like if you were making a quilt. So you could actually make your tablecloth look like a quilt block. Now, I made all of these tablecloths for a round table. I love round tables, and I like putting square tablecloths on them because when they hang down the edge, the points show, and I like that, the way that looks. I used to have a round table, but when we moved a few years ago, I had to get rid of it because it wasn't going to fit in our other house. So I never got rid of the tablecloths because I liked all of them. Now, these are, I think, about 12-inch squares, and I stitched it together as if I was making a quilt. Built this row first, added on the next row and the next row, and altered the prints that are on here. After I got the top piece all done, then on the back, I just cut out one large piece of fabric to put on the back. And I also did the same thing on the previous tablecloth. Then to hold all the fabric pieces together, I did stitch in the ditch. In other words, stitch right on top of your seam from top to bottom, and then you go across this way, side to side. To finish off the edges, you could bring the back fabric on top, bringing pretty sides together, and stitch around all 4 sides, leave an opening, and turn it front side out. That way you don't have to worry about binding. But I like the binding. I thought it looked really pretty, so you can add binding to your tablecloth. You can also add lace fringe if you want to, pom-pom fringe, and tassel fringe, and even put rickrack on the edge. Now this has a St. Patrick's Day theme to it. So it's one large square in the middle, and then I put a border on it, just like if I was making a quilt. So there's border strips on all 4 sides, and then squares in the corner. And each one of these prints is a different style of print. So there's actually 3 prints here. Now there's something unique about this table runner on the back, and that is it has an Easter theme on the back, and it's all different squares. This one has smaller squares here in the middle, using 2 different prints inside. Then I selected, this has a real small print on it. It's hard to see, but it does have a print on it. And just added a plain border around all 4 sides. Now on this one, this is where I didn't use any binding on it. I chose some fabric for the back. It can be the same fabric or something different. I just chose a plain white, and I brought front sides together, stitched it all 4 sides, and then turned it front side out, stitched the opening closed, and then did stitch in the ditch all over. This is the first little table topper I ever made, and it was probably made 25 years ago. You basically start out with a square, and then you trim the corners off to give it this little shape. And you can make these really large or really small. I made this one for a smaller table, and then you can put a vase or a lamp or any other object in the middle. Now this one I do have a tutorial on it. It's probably one of my most popular table toppers, and it's larger. You first want to decide just how wide you want to make it, and then you're going to determine from that, doing a little math, what the size of your squares should be. So if you want to know how to get something like this started, there will be a link below your YouTube screen. Here's another idea for a small tablecloth, maybe for a small round end table that you have. Starts out with squares, and then in the corner of all 4 squares, I did a half square triangle. And in between, I did a couple of sashing strips. And so it makes it look like it's a perfect spot for a vase or a lamp. So now these squares in each corner here are really large. They're probably like 20-inch squares. And again, a half square triangle in each corner of the large squares. You bring these 4 corners together, and there again, it's kind of highlighting whatever object you want to put in the middle. Now, if you're a little overwhelmed by all of these tablecloths and table toppers I showed you, there's another easy way to dress up a tablecloth that you have purchased. This one actually came from Walmart, and the lace trim also came from Walmart. And this was stitched on the edges. And when you get to the corner, right in here, they're mitered together, so they're stitched at an angle. So you can buy a plain tablecloth and dress it up for either a special dinner or for the holiday seasons. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week, and really check out those links below your YouTube screen so you can see just how easy it is to do some of these projects. So these tablecloths really started out like a quilt block. It's just that I made it larger. It's not that difficult. But if you've not been sewing at all and you're just checking this out to see what you can make, I recommend you start out with a pot holder, then move up to a placemat, then a table runner, and then maybe a really basic quilt. Don't start out with something complicated. Stick with a small project. You're going to be much happier. So to get to those links, scroll down below your YouTube screen, click on the word more, and it will expand open, and you'll see a lot of links to some of the projects that I showed you. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and then check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.